Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to the Vagrant. It's been an hour and we are still in the village, so we hopefully are going to make our way into more of a Metroidvania style cave or castle, like Castlevania, something with at least more enemies in it. And I keep forgetting that the B button does not bring you out of the map, and so I've now wasted all of my rage, which I only have 2 rage attacks on there anyways. So this looks like a 4 section. We were supposed to be accompanying a lady who is running away from an arranged marriage, and we're now fighting rats. So I don't know if the lady is with us and she just isn't visible, which is very possible, or if she got kidnapped and ran away. The problem here is definitely going to come down to dashing and running. If we have to go back and forth. And when she's running and walking, her scantily clad bikini armor definitely gives more of a feeling around almost torn fishnet stockings. Seems like this character doesn't want anything to do with me, but we can see we have to fight them. Although I would really assume that she's actually wearing closer to a leather armor, leather chaps type appearance. So you could have assumed that those clouds in the back were mountains, but then you jump up and see that they're not. There's a lot of parallax happening here. And we're definitely seeing something different in the sense that there seems to be times in which we're going to be walled in, and there seems to be times in which we're going to be free to run. I have upgraded my weapon and equipped armor, so it don't seem like I'm really taking any damage. Although, in all fairness, these guys don't seem to be particularly strong. It's weird, we had a yellow sun and now we have a red sun in the background. Let's see. And so this would have just been this side path. I do think there's a nice amount of variety of things to attack and things to break so far. It could have just been rats, it could have just been boars. So having rats, wolves, boars, and blackbirds or ravens or whatever all attack you is quite a lot just for your first collection of enemies. And yeah, I guess the runaway girl is just with us. You must be tired after all this walking. It's funny you don't even have a button prompt, and in most cases I'd say it's nice that they don't have a button prompt, but probably would help if you sat here for a few minutes if it told you to press A. It's weird that pressing up on the D-pad doesn't move the story forward, because pressing up on the D-pad starts the dialogue. I'm fine, I have some food. Shall we eat? Certainly the lady on the right seems fairly overdressed, or the vagrant on the left feels fairly underdressed. I guess we'd probably go with the lady on the right being overdressed because every other character, female character, has had a ton of cleavage. But characteristically and thematically, her being dressed down kind of makes some sense, and her being naive to dress that way while traveling through a dangerous forest makes some sense. So, Lucia, have you told your family yet? I'm sorry, Vivian. I've lied to you. My mother's trying to force me into an arranged marriage. My true love and I have agreed to escape to Wee Town. Oh, Alex, we will be reunited. I wonder if the dialogue, when it kind of jitters when it comes in, might be an implication of almost a stutter in the character on the right's personality. You could take it that way, but I suspect it's just a bug, and I suspect we'll see it when other characters talk also. My brother is on watch at the... Man, this is just getting harder and harder to read. It's just barely readable from 10 feet away. At the main road, so I couldn't possibly escape through there. So it was the brother that wouldn't let you pass. Alex and I agreed to meet at the border of the forest. I'm so sorry, Vivian. You didn't agree to this. Are you sure? What do you mean? About getting away from your family? Is that what you really want? My mother is so excited to have me marry that idiot Watford's son, and so my dumb brother. And so is my dumb brother, Watford. How did that idiot become the head of the village? Alex is but a poor blacksmith apprentice, and my mother would never agree to our marriage. I'm leaving with Alex, perhaps. Time will bring their forgiveness. I only regret missing my little brother Camden's return from the Wizards Academy. He's so very sweet. I miss him so. So we do know there were wizards in this game. Although I don't suspect that this is going to turn into like a Final Fantasy type experience where we end up having a wizard on our side. Because we're not doing the turn-based attack or group-based attacks that would make any sense there. If we were to get a wizard on our side, it would just probably attack on its own and not be controlled by the player. Japanese RPGs in particular are still very heavily turn-based RPG focused, and those games tend to be far too slow and have far too many characters for my taste. If you are confident in your decision, then my sword is at your disposal. We journey for Wheat Dawn, Alex. Thank you so much, Vivian. His names feel a little bit weird. And so now, past an hour and we're still getting tutorials. Campfire. When enough ingredients are gathered for recipes, you can cook meals in the campfire to recover HP and other buffs. New recipes can be unlocked by eating in restaurants. You can also save the game at campfires. Right. So this would be to go back. I love Alex, although he isn't doing very well at the moment. I believe him. He is a strong man. I want to spend my life with him. I wish you could find your true love in Vivian. God bless you. Right. So cooking means we can't cook anything here. Let's just move the mouse cursor out of the way. That doesn't need to be on screen. Save. It definitely feels like saving. It's going to make a lot of sense. And there's just nothing here. So the only mistake I made, I think, would have been to not have eaten one of the things at the restaurants to get a buff. Not that I really needed the buff, but I needed the recipe So we do know that that safe spot and fast travel spot will give us an excuse to go back to that village and eat one of two meals. The meals are fairly expensive, however, compared to armor and weapons. And if I eat 2 meals at the same point, that's going to overwrite the buff of one of them. So hopefully we can avoid doing that. I suppose it is very possible the cooking mechanic doesn't really matter. This map really betrays the true width of this game. Each one of these squares is a very large area. Yep. I hope we get a magnet ability, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't. It would certainly help, because when I'm smashing rocks and then having to walk back and forth just to make sure I got them all. That's a little redundant. We gotta rage back by going, I guess, to the campfire section. I thought we were fighting spiders there for a second, but they're just rats. The creature designs here may not quite match the character designs. That was just a empty square for some fights. Now we're playing on normal, so maybe on lunatic mode those fights are way more difficult, but they are definitely a cakewalk here, and I question if there is actually going to be a New Game Plus type setup where you could beat it on normal mode and then play it on lunatic. There isn't a lot of verticality in these attacks, so a rage attack probably could just kill. Probably could kill 3 or 4 things in a row. Wow, and it seems like we are just going to end up wrapping all the way around. Something's wrong. This area reeks of death. Be careful, Lucia. Alex, heaven be with us. Alex has to be safe. Let's go. Lucia. No, no, not like this. Not like this. Alex, my love. Who could do this to you? So notice this cutscene is a little bit more zoomed in, and I think the animations work better when they're a little bit more zoomed in on the character. I could see a more dynamic zoom happening in where there aren't any enemies around, so the zoom is fairly tight, and then when there are enemies around, the zoom comes out wider, but that'd probably be fairly annoying. So do we assume it's our family, or do we assume it's just a big bad guy? The sword. I know the sword. It's my father's sword, the same sword that my brother Willie yearns so deeply to yield. It would seem that my family indeed put an end to our plans, my sweet Alex. I am sorry, Vivian. It seems that my journey ends here with my love. Please bring this necklace to my father and announce that his daughter is dead. So she's just gonna kill herself? In a Romeo and Juliet plan, I guess that's what's gonna happen here. Which, we didn't really need a companion character or quest giver character to follow us around and make it an escort quest. Not that it was really changing anything as far as how the game played, but it would have gotten annoying. Certainly if we had stayed with this character for a very long time. So, I half suspected that Lucia was going to turn out to be a bad guy and that she was leading you into a trap. But I guess that would have been too big of a twist for most games. And yeah, Lucia, I don't think that is wise. Yes, perhaps you are correct. Just allow me to stay with my love for a little while longer. Just a little longer. You can return to the village from the main road. Don't worry about me. I will be fine. Lucia is no more. Lucia is dead. But I will live on. She's calmed down, but it's obvious she isn't. She's not alright. I should give her some space. And so, yeah, we started here. Here lies Lucia, beloved. Next, Alex, what shall I do? Where am I supposed to go? So you can't take the sword, which could have just been an upgrade to the sword. And that certainly seems extreme, and knows how now the map is wrapped around. And your little red dot, I think, is just in the middle of the square always. So we can't go to the right. And seemingly they're implying that we came from a forward direction. But there would be a way, like here, to go forward. But it's not really allowing me to do that. Now what would be very surprising here, this is a new area, is if we got back to the village and we found everybody dead in the village. Not by Lucia's hand, but by some other enemy's hand. Although, by Lucia's hand, her turning into the main bad guy in the game would be interesting, because so often it is a case where you see the main bad guy as already a fully evolved evil character, and maybe you'll get some backstory as to how someone tragically became that fully evolved evil character in a game, but very rarely do they start off as a companion. I'm not sure I can think of another game where they would have started off as a companion, and I guess another game is the wrong phrase to use because it's probably not the case in this game either. This is a burnt house. Monster, hold. Stay where you are. I beg of you, have mercy on me. It's here. Soul Reaper is here. We're all doomed. Alright, so I'm just gonna jump in here immediately and try and figure out what's going on. In a lot of ways, this feels somewhat like a beat-em-up game where you're just getting chicken and food for breaking things. Interesting. So leather armor we would have found for free, so I wasted money there. But the rank upgrade seems to be connected to all of them. I'm not sure what the value of breaking the bee's nest are. I wonder if just used a potion for no reason. That was a waste. The skill here doesn't seem to want to work whenever I'm in the fight. I've hit the B button a couple times and it hasn't done anything, which I'm confused by. I guess sometimes it drops something, so... yeah. I have to assume at some level the potions and the rage abilities will start to play a role even on normal. The music here trying to make us move a lot faster. Dot question mark. Pitiful. Demon, what devilry is this? Ah, you may just do. Embrace my trial by death. There are too many, but I'm not one to give up. It looks like they're not either. Hi. And yeah, the Japanese there doesn't mean too much to us. Like my attacks, like the B button attack, seems like it has to be some part of a combo. Alright. If we kill all of these guys, maybe that'll help. If not, we'll just try and figure out something. Think we were supposed to lose there, since I got an achievement for losing. And we did a decent amount of damage. There definitely was a Final Fantasy game I once played where you fought a dragon at the beginning and you were supposed to lose, and it really gave no indication that you were supposed to lose, nor did it have like a one-hit kill factor if you fought for like a minute or so where it would just kill you no matter what. And so I did spend like an hour playing against this dragon to finally give up and let it kill me, just to realize that's how the story moves on. I'm not a big fan of big bosses showing up at the beginning of the game and defeating you if you can actually control it. If you are going to do that, it really should just be a cutscene. It doesn't seem like I would have been able to survive much better through that fight, even if I was a more skilled player. That he was doing quite a lot of attacks and a lot of damage. And I'm not sure I actually took a hit at the end there, or if that wasn't just scripted, that I would take damage. But honestly, that would have probably been better as just a cutscene. And you can see our Vagrant character in yet another pose, showing off a lot of cleavage. It's actually counterintuitive to have the fetish with the messy, long blonde hair and a lot of cleavage. If she had gone with just a shorter hairstyle, you would have less hair covering her face and less hair covering perhaps her chest. I've lost, and I'm too exhausted to keep fighting. There we saw the audio glitch or dialogue glitch. So that is just it doing a weird word wrapping. I'm sure in the Japanese version or the original language version of this, which I assume is Japanese, it might be Chinese, it might be Korean, who knows. I'm sure though that it doesn't have that same glitch. I can't believe this is the end. You have proven unworthy, but your soul shall give me endurance. in the name of Varide. Is someone else is saying that? Question mark, question mark, question mark is saying that. And that's straight up. Um, that's straight up just exactly what the dialogue is, which is probably just made up Latin magic spell words. Now, I guess what we have to assume here, as we're getting another one of these hand painted art things, um, which I wouldn't be surprised if this game was designed around the idea that they got a kind of famous artist on board and then had him hand paint these cutscenes. And then they made a otherwise average generic Metroidvania RPG game around the hand painted art, because this is definitely feels like a slightly different style than what we see in the actual gameplay. And yeah, big old boob window with a giant belt. I have to assume that this is a head wizard, magician lady, whatever she's going to call herself, I imagine wizard, and that the younger brother is going to be the apprentice. Um, Otherwise, there's some weirdness here, because she said her, Lucia said her little brother was a wizard at the Wizard Academy. Obey my command. Incineration. You're lucky monsters. Few force me, the Witch of Vinde, to raise my hand. Huh. This pitiful vessel has reached its limits. But you, the Witch of Vinde, you have excellent potential. I claim you as my vessel. What? A reversing curse, how dare you? But I shan't work on... It shan't work on the Witch of Vinde. I can't read it. What a pity. We shall see, haha. You are mine. Is it gone? It seems we have a survivor. Move her inside, Camden. So now we have a potential bigger boss character. I wouldn't be surprised if we find that Camden's family, except for Lucy, are all dead now, and so the two of them have to take care of each other. You seem to be feeling better. I wasted a lot of potions in that fight though, so that really sucks. But I imagine it won't matter. Yes, I am. Thank you. I am Wholeborn, Witch of Verde. I'm just making up these words at this point because I can't really read them. I was impressed to find that you could hold that devil and his minions at bay for so long. What is your name? I kind of wish that there was a way to make the text bigger, but the only way I can imagine doing that is by lowering the resolution. And arguably, this might be a game where that wouldn't be too big of a deal. Instead of being at 1080p, bringing it down to a 720p resolution would just make the pixels bigger. And since it's such a soft image anyways, that you just don't have that need for sharpness. Vivian, and there's nothing to be impressed about. I'm just a sellsword. A sellsword, huh? Perhaps you could consider it a new job. The way you handle your sword. It's beyond anything a typical sellsword could do. It's just some simple tricks. Anyone could do them. Is that right? Because it's very similar to a technique called runecraft, I'm going to assume. It's what that says. And it is by no means a technique anyone can do. Runecraft is said to adapt rune stones to draw mana in the summoning area, which is ideal for defeating wizards. Yeah, I've heard those stories. Every wannabe adventurer has. But I only know enough swordplay to earn a few coins here and there. Nothing like that. Of course, nothing like that. So, yeah, we may end up fighting the wizards, or at least one wizard lady, because she's taken over by the bad guy. Madam, what was that horrid abomination? We have to hunt it down and destroy it. Allow me to introduce my young apprentice, Vivian. This is Camden. Poor Camden, I know you yearn for vengeance, but the abomination is no common demon. It would not be so easily banished. Damn it. If we were to meet again, I'm afraid we would have a little chance of defending it. But don't feel discouraged. It should be severely wounded by my incantations. I hope it will be for quite a while. After all, its bloody curse is prepared to devour me at any time. I should have killed it. This is way more dialogue than I was expecting to read. I've had a run of several games with a lot of reading in it, and it's really not my style to have this much dialogue. If this was voiced, I would really love it a lot more, because we could just get through this dialogue quicker. Madame. Even if this was voiced in Japanese, I think it would be a little bit better, because then you could get the tone and inflection of what's being said, even if you couldn't understand what words are being said. Fear not, varied, whatever, will not be corrupted easily. What was that thing? Soul Reaper, it would seem. It has been seen wandering cursed places such as Mythrilia, but it is quite strange to see it in this village. The last generation of wizards built a guardian stone to protect this area from evil. How could evil walk right in? Guardian stone, is that the one outside the village? It is. Have you seen it? Yeah, someone died there. Their blood covered the stone. So the guardian stone was sullied. It's no wonder that its magic is waning. My sister is the only survivor of that onslaught, but she has been silent since her return. Speak, Vagrant. What do you know? Camden, behave. There's no need to be rude. Must apologize for my pupil's behavior, Miss Vivian. Camden apologized to the Lady Vivian immediately. Might there be more that you can tell us about the current situation, Miss Vivian? Vivian tells Hellborn and Camden what happened. Good, skip all that dialogue. This is all your fault. Calm down, Camden. None of this was Vivian's doing. It seems that Willie killed Alex and made the young lover's blood sully the Guardian Stone. The stone keeps evil away, but does not banish it, so the evil grows and grows outside of the stone's power. Warnings waiting for its chance. The spilled blood allowed the evils. It all makes sense. Would you kindly do me a favor, Miss Vivian? I'm quite occupied by the curse for the time being. It would be best if I were to keep an eye on it. Otherwise it could take me at any moment. I could use a hand, if you would pardon the pun. Of course, you can control this. You can count this favor for your own good as well. I believe that you have a bit of your own curse, and you've come by in your journeys. Yes? I say we work together to put an end to the curse. First, we must repair the Guardian Stone. Oh man, this is too slow. I understand that there is an ancient battlefield near the village. It would be beneficial if you were to use your sellsword talents against the undead warlord and retrieve the dark crystals it bears. With the dark crystal, I could easily repair the Guardian Stone, and we can remove any of the curses in the sacred field. And that was an abrupt ending, but not an unwelcome abrupt ending by any means. The ancient battlefield is next to the junction end of the Guardian Stone. I trust this will be no difficult for you, Miss Vixian. There we go, we got 2 HP potions there. And the reason why you would have like breakable pots here in a game like this is so you can refill your potential HP or potions if you use them all up. There's no talking. What are you looking at? Keep away from my sister. All these years studying magic, and for what? I can't even keep my friends safe. Are you even eavesdropping? Mind your own business. Lucia, but could Willie? How could my own brother have done that to you? You just refuse to mind your own business, don't you? My dearest Alex, you and I will be together now until the very end. Are you alright, Lucin? No, no one is going to separate us. Or Lucia. So is Alex buried in the pot? Or his ashes in the pot or something? Or maybe she's crazy and she's talking to the plant. Madness is growing. I should stay away from her from now. Yep, so she's just gone full crazy. Alright, well this creates a weird situation where we know where we want to go, but this better direction is to see. Maybe this guy talk. For Lucy, I will try and take good care of her. Everybody else just wants me to go away. Alright. And then you have a different prompt. Part of the problem here, though, is knowing. I think we have all of this. If we were missing anything, we'd be missing eggplant. So, should I spend the money on an eggplant? No, I don't think so. Guess maybe we don't eat this. So we buy those 2 meals. Yeah, arigato gozaimashita is definitely Japanese for basically thank you very much. And in that instance, I guess that would easily be localized to enjoy your meal, but it is kind of far away from Ikidaki Moss, which would be what you say before you as a person start eating, which is closer to thank you very much for the food. It wouldn't be what a waiter was saying to you. If I sell one of these, it'd just be 100. So it's probably not worth selling it until we can sell things for more. It'll be a long time. Oops. Probably be a long time before I could afford anything else. I can, I guess, run around and see if we... Let's see. I really would like that amulet, but I can't afford it. And I did my rage attack on accident again. So as far as items now, yeah, you could grind out and get items to get more gold. Meals are not considered potions, so I did just eat both of those meals in a row, which that's probably not a terrible thought. Anyways, so now we can make recipes and campfires, and probably does make sense to save. And we can't travel. I was thinking it was very possible, though, that that you would run into more people being slaughtered situation. I wasn't really thinking that most of the village would still be alive and well. I still don't understand why I can't do the rage attack. Maybe it's a case that the amount of rage that's necessary, which is 50, is more than what I have. I may have like only 90. I suppose that's somewhat believable. The treasure chests do not open up a second time. Yeah, I guess we can check that. It says rage is 100. If HP base, I would assume that base was rage. So if it costs 50 rage to do it, you should be able to do 2 rage attacks in a row. And yet, very consistently, it doesn't seem like it works out that way. Right. So my rage is at 100. You stand still and you do 50. Is it that you have to stand still to do a rage attack, which would effectively make it very useless? Let's see. Attack enemies from a distance. I don't know where the other skill spots would even be integrated anyways, because Y has this upper attack, X has a quick attack. Like, Y is your strong attack, which they told us about the strong attack in the tutorial, and I've already forgotten about it. guess this is the right way. That way would just take us back. There's nothing to do or look at as far as the Guardian Stone. We're getting more into a foggy situation, which the rest of the game so far hasn't had really any effects on it, so that feels a little weird. This is strange, but in a lot of ways this is kind of exactly what you would expect from an attempt at doing something different with a Metroidvania game. To have more forested areas be part of the fight. Let's see. Can we make a fried egg? Would require 4 eggs and 2. Well, no, probably requires 1 egg and 1 butter. And this requires considerably more spinach, onion, asparagus, and spice. It's very possible we are only going to get 1 screen of recipes. Let's go ahead and save. And we're just taking a side quest here. Tutorial runecraft. As a rune warden, Vivian is able to enchant her equipment with rune stones. To enchant equipment, find the enchant portion of the equipment section in the menu interface. Rune stones can be found during adventures and may be found when disposing of enchanted equipment. May being the key word to take from that, I imagine. So now if I was to say, let's enchant, we could increase this. Inserting a redstone, any existing rune slot will be replaced. So if we do this, we have to live with it, which probably doesn't really matter too much. Well, let's do it on the armor, because if we replace the full armor, it probably doesn't matter if we have max HP increased. Yeah, that was very minorly an increase in HP by 2. Although on normal mode, 2 HP might actually matter. I imagine it won't matter that much. We might be going somewhere where it's fairly dangerous. I should consider skills or abilities at this point. We have enough mana to think about things. And I guess on the balance of it, attack would make more sense and button mashing might make more sense, although I'm mostly just hitting X, so unless there was a button mashing that was XXX, just like a 3 combo, you probably would just go for more attack. The other options that we could actually afford would be criticals plus 1%, which maybe means we don't have any criticals, so getting into that early kind of makes some sense. Rage, I don't think I care about enough because it doesn't seem like it works. And then let's not do anything that requires something more. So strength, And criticals. He said to do the ones with the square things like this with the square stars and things like this, which are the circle stars, early, which that's really hard to see from this distance. If I could just zoom in. XXXY. Might be the way to go. Let's take that. Then we might be stuck. We could increase our rage by 10. Or we could just wait. Yeah, I think we'll just wait. Wow. And the game kind of hitched up there. And this is not really a game that I think I could justify hitching happening in it. XXXY. I took some damage there, but not any major. So now we've got a real combo here, and so no longer is it just button mashing, although it can be button mashing if we want. Now we have 2 pieces of leather armor, which seems a little unnecessary. We're just going everywhere. Okay, let's see. Equipment. Now we're immediately out of needing this weapon and instead equipping this weapon. And unless there's something majorly different there, this one is sellable. Is it possible that this weapon is a little bit slower? Yes, but I'm not certain of that. Alright. We're getting a ridiculous amount of food. I can't really wrap my head around the idea of having so many different difficulty settings. If this was a Metroid game and there were multiple difficulty settings, ooh, they have some kind of like laser attack. These monsters also, again, just do not feel they don't quite feel in line with the character designs of the humans in the game. They're a little too different. It definitely is believable. Wow, those are really small rats. That you could have made Metroid, Super Metroid, a lot more difficult of a game. Found holy water, you can now unlock a new ability with it. Nice. Let's just go ahead and do that. Potion cooldown, countdown, less than 2 seconds. Recover Guess we'll do that. I guess going down the greed route probably is smart, increasing just the amount you can sell and buy items for. Does seem to kind of make some sense. I don't know how big this game is, really. At a certain level, it kind of feels like maybe there will be some new game plus idea around it. And now that I have this piercing strike attack, it gives me a lot more reason to remember to press the Y button and do strong attacks. At a certain level, I feel like what needed to happen in Metroid or Super Metroid to justify potentially justify having different levels of difficulty would be to just turn a lot of the enemies into bullet sponges, and while you have infinite bullets in Metroid, Super Metroid games, spending the extra time to potentially have to take 5 or 6 hits. Gotta be careful not to leave the area. I don't know if that would make the game any more fun. What you would much prefer, and what fans have done with Metroid in particular, is they've created randomizers that randomize where the items are, or what items you get in specific spots at least. We're gonna have to learn the movement on these characters a little bit, but arguably not that much. Interesting that it had this like somersault forward attack. I wasn't expecting that. I figured I would have just ended up flailing pointlessly in the air. You get the deep pounding sound whenever you do a heavy attack. It seems like I might be poisoned here. Inspired by the ancient texts in the tablet, you've learned a new skill. Interesting. Item, consumable. Let's go ahead and use an antidote. And then do we find another rune stone? I guess we do have another rune stone. Do we have any accessories that we found? No. Heaven's Fall. Rise up when performing a spiral cutting. Rise up in the air while performing a set spiral cutting thing. Okay. So now we do have another skill, not to be confused with an ability, which, yeah, 2,500 mana. Wow, the costs of these upgrades have skyrocketed. I don't think it was that expensive before. So I may just be screwed here. But I can definitely see recovering HP when picking up gold, because it does seem like we're just going to pick up gold fairly quickly, and then increasing gold drop is effectively then increasing your health pickups. And then perhaps these two purchases are not as worth it. There's still definitely a lot of argument towards getting more of an attack. Increase the number of hits with Walling Smash. Defense potentially is still on the table. Rage, I don't know if there's so much of a issue with rage. I guess what we should do is use a potion. We need to be better at dodging. And yeah, you have to do 2 bad slashes before you can spin forward. So that's not too big of a deal. Right. Then if we choose cooking, choose a fried egg, eat that, it gets us our health up, which is now up to 134. Right. Potions. Recovers 20% of your health with small potions. Is probably better than recovering 40% at the moment. And 80% with the potion X. So this is a better armor piece, which we can go ahead and equip here. And we might as well enchant it with this. And then what would this sell as if we were to dispose of this? Yeah, I guess there's a real question about just how long this game is, because if this game is really long, then there's an idea around just selling this with its 1 max HP, which the max HP now is somehow jumped from being 102 to 130. That must have been one of the abilities we got. This, guess if we enhance, we could use mana to enhance a weapon, and I don't think using mana to enhance weapons makes sense anymore. Still looking for an accessory, and like, let's see, skill was Heaven's Fall, but didn't we also get an item? Holy Water. Holy Water is blessed water used in banishing evil, and the Stone Plate Spiral is containing knowledge of concentration. So those are key items. We have a lot of stuff that would sell, although arguably maybe you just don't sell it until you have the full upgrades. And we have a decent amount of items as far as making recipes. So yeah, I don't think anything is really going badly here. And if we look at the journal, this is generally an idea, I guess, of where we started with the Forbidden Storm and Foreboding Storm, and we're now at Touch of Evil, which may mean we are like fairly far away. The Monsterpedia is probably going to give us a general idea of how many enemies are in the entire game. Seems like probably not that many. But you never know, because this could be just scrolling down and down and down, or this could be just hitting a certain spot and stopping. Until we could actually count. It doesn't seem like it's that much, though. Yeah. My concern here is that this might be the entirety of the map. And that would be weird, certainly. Probably not, but this could be one of 4 maps, and that would be somewhat believable. And even at that, that's kind of a small area. The fact that it says Broccoli Shire in the lower left-hand corner does imply to me that this is probably the one of 3 or 4 areas. But it doesn't feel like the game... Darn it, every time. It doesn't feel like the game is in any way as big as you might have thought it would have been. And I guess inherently that is a problem with a lot of Metroidvania games in general, is that they just aren't as big as a Metroid game or a Castlevania games. I think most Castlevania games are actually even bigger. But yeah, it's concerning that this game may end fairly quickly, or it may just have a whole bunch of side quests that are not that interesting after you do the main story, or it may just try to encourage you to play the game over and over again. Noticeably, we are now 2 hours, I believe, into the game, and already the bikini armor gimmick has been played up. Like, it just has been normalized in my mind. I really don't care. It's what they say, if you go to a nudist beach, like, you may be overly excited by being in a nudist beach the first time, but after an hour or so, it just becomes so normalized you don't even recognize it. At least that's what I've heard of as far as people going to nudist beaches. It's just like they're not doing anything with the lewd outfit. I would say Shantae as a series does a lot more with that character in as far as lewd outfits and skimpy outfits, having a half genie hero character that often swaps outfits in the middle of the story, or is attacked while taking a bubble bath at the beginning of one game. It's just like that they put specific scenarios around it instead of it just being, this is what they're wearing throughout the entire game because I made the character that way. It's not likely to become iconic, certainly, if they were to make a Vagrant 2, that she would still be in the bikini armor. She'd at least want to be in different bikini armor compared to, say, Zelda, where Zelda was always in the green tunic with the hat and the elf ears, with the sword and shield. Those were very iconic of Zelda until they finally changed that and introduced the blue tunic, sword and shield outfits for later Zelda or Link characters. Zelda herself is actually quite iconic in almost always the exact same outfit. Yep. Well, I guess I don't have anything else to say, so that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.